What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Anthony Walker here, and I just want to give you a little side note on episode 5. I want to deeply apologize for uploading the wrong audio. I never looked at it. I didn't think I did it. I thought I actually put up the right audio. So this week, you've got episode 6, which is already up, which should be already up. And you're probably going to be listening to episode 6 as well. But episode 5 will be redone and it will be re-uploaded. So this week you'll get 2 episodes of CWC. One from last week, my thoughts on last week, and one from this week as well. So I just want to say, guys, I truly apologize for that. But this is what it's like when you try to build a podcast and try to build it so you guys can enjoy it. I truly apologize for that, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast nonetheless. Thanks again.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world.
This is the Wrestling Matters podcast where we stand up for professional wrestling.
Here we fucking go!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another installment of the CWC podcast. That's right, the CWC podcast brought to you by Wrestling Matters. I am your host and creator and editor and producer of this podcast, the one and only Anthony Walker. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the CWC. I did. Some very good, entertaining matches. Nothing that wowed me in terms of matches like Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, or whatever. But still great matches nonetheless. And there was 3 matches in this week's episode, which was Noam against HoHo Lin. I hope I said that right. And the main event, which saw Brian Kendrick against Tony Nese. But it kicked off with Tozawa against Jack Gallagher. Now, before I get to that, ladies and gentlemen, I feel the need to do this. Okay, I will be doing a NXT preview at some point, WWE NXT. And I will also mention 2 matches that have been made for the SummerSlam pay-per-view, which were made after the time I recorded the preview, which is on my YouTube channel. So I will let everybody know on that. And then on this week's edition of the podcast, episode 125, I believe it is, I will have 2 SummerSlam-related countdowns from What Culture. And I am going to rant. That's right, the pipe bombs are back. About Eva Marie, okay? Because Eva Marie, even though it's supposed to be the women's division, Eva Marie is turning it, well, she's probably the only one, but it's the Divas division. Because I made the call, ladies and gentlemen, and if you listen to my podcast, you know what I'm talking about, but I called it. More on that this coming week, though. Anyway, Tozawa, Jack Gallagher. A lot of fun to watch in terms of mat wrestling skills. Love this match so much. One point during the match, Jack ties Tozawa up in a ball, and I don't think Tozawa took too kindly to that, quite frankly. Very good stuff. Mat wrestling, mat-based wrestling, great technique in the match by Jack Gallagher of the most. I think Tozawa was trying to get it into like a hard-hitting style Japanese match, but Jack was always one step ahead of him. And quick suplexes, and Jack... Story of the match was mainly Jack focusing on the leg, but you've got to give credit to Tozawa because he managed to come back with the injured legs that he had, because Jack most of the match worked on the leg to try and get him into that submission hold to make him tap, but Tozawa manages to come back and gets the victory with a German suplex. Little quote from Daniel Bryan after the match. He says that Tozawa has the best suplexes in professional wrestling. I'd love to see him tell that to Brock Lesnar. But I'm not denying it, he probably has. He definitely has the quickest German suplexes in professional wrestling. Because I don't think Brock Lesnar can do a suplex quicker than Mr. Tozawa. That's my take on that one. Very, very quick, very snap on there as well. But anyway, Tozawa advances on. Now, little Noam Da, anybody who knows him from UK indie scenes and ICW, as well, took on HoHo Lun. Now, Da was in mostly control of this match, just dominated most of the match. Yes, Lun did fight back and show what he could do in the match as well, but it was mainly Noam Da's match. He controlled from start to finish, he worked on the legs, and it paid off for him because he got a great move to get into the Champagne Super Knee Bar and got the victory by a tap out. That means Lun is now eliminated and Da moves on, but a great performance from Noam Da in this match. He came prepared, and he came prepared to the fact where HoHo could not keep up with him or could not hang with him to a point. Yes, he did show good stuff. He did show a fight back, but Da was one step ahead of Mr. Lun. Now for the main event. Now, I don't like the way WWE.com reviewed this, quite frankly. They had this down as Brian Kendrick using dirty tactics. This is Brian Kendrick versus Tony Nese. Brian did win in a match that was dominated by Tony, but I'll get to that in a second. They had this down, WWE.com that is, as Brian Kendrick using dirty tactics to get the victory. Now, I watched the match. I'm sure you guys watched the match as well. I don't think it was as bad as WWE.com made it out to be. He didn't use dirty tactics. Yes, there was a few dirty tactics here and there. You know, the rake of the eyes and that. But he did what he had to do. It didn't like just kick him square in the nuts and then get the 1, 2, 3 without the referee looking. You know, so WWE needs to rethink what they say, because they made it out like basically Brian cheated to win the match, which he didn't. Yes, the match was dominated by Tony. Hard-hitting knees and kicks to start off, rocking Kendrick. One of my favourite spots in the match was Tony Nese doing his best high jump impersonation. Yes, he did a high jump. If you don't know what a high jump is, go and watch the Olympics or go and watch athletics, and you'll soon know. He did it over the top rope and landed on Brian Kendrick on the outside, which was just poetry in motion. Thing of beauty. And, you know, close near falls in the match. Brian showing a lot of heart in a match, like I say, was dominated by Tony Nese. But, as it always, like I've said before, guys, take it from someone who has been in the wrestling ring, not to a level of a WWE or TNA or whatever, but I have been in a professional wrestling ring. I know what it takes. It only takes one mistake, ladies and gentlemen. Just one mistake, and it could backfire on you. And it did with Tony as well. Like I say, the match was dominated by Tony. Tony had Brian beat, went up for the 450, nobody in the pool, and then Brian hits that bully choke and makes him tap out and gets the victory and advances. In what was a very good match. It was a very good match, but it was mainly dominated by Tony. But Brian Kendrick, using his experience, this is not his first rodeo in WWE. He has been in WWE before. Will we see him on Raw? Hopefully. But, yeah, he used his experience and his expertise, and he got the victory. And he goes on now defend Ibushi. He will meet Ibushi in the next round, which is the quarterfinals. So that is interesting. Very interesting indeed. All in all, ladies and gentlemen, it was a very good show. Very good show. Nothing wowed me, like I say, with, you know, the Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano match and all that kind of way. But still great matches and still a great show nonetheless for an hour. And that about wraps it up. I'll give it a 4 out of 5, ladies and gentlemen. Solid 8 out of 10. I'm very much enjoying the CWC. Indeed, and I can't wait to the quarterfinals and everything, and it's not long now before it finishes, and not long now before this series finishes. This is a series, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast, so when the CWC finishes, this will finish as well, and yeah, that's about wraps it up for this podcast, guys. Hope you guys enjoy it on YouTube and SoundCloud, where you can download it for free. Feel free to hit the like button if you want more podcasts like this. If you want to see a video podcast at some point, I am thinking of doing it. I just don't know how to set it out yet. I want to be like a little bit professional, going back to some of my old stuff and everything. So if you want to know anything else of what's going to take place on the Wrestling Matters channel, you must subscribe to the channel to check it all out as well and keep up to date. And also, no matter what, ladies and gentlemen, you will get your weekly Wrestling Matters podcast each and every week on the Wrestling channel, the Wrestling Matters channel, that is, Swerve Talk Network, Spreaker.com, although I haven't been putting it up lately because I have been very poorly, and SoundCloud, where you can download every single podcast that I've done for free as well. And I'm looking to get back my website up and running again because I've been thinking of a lot of things, a lot of changes to make for them websites as well, just to make it more interesting for a viewer or somebody who clicks on. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to this podcast. Thanks for checking it out. Until next time, my name is Anthony Walker. Wrestling matters, as it's been doing for me all my life, and it should for you. Till next time, peace out.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Professional wrestling, this is it. This is us standing up. Yes, yes, yes. Yes! 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 That's 13-14! Till death! Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line! Cause Stone Cold said so!